Hey bike touring enthusiast, I would like to reveal a bike touring secret, and that is Amtrak. I've used the train service about a half dozen times in recent years, and I've been really pleased with just how convenient Amtrak makes it to bring your bike along for a journey. However, I've also found out in discussions with other riders that the process is a little bit confusing, and even the Amtrak website has some conflicting information, so I'm going to do my best to explain what I think you should consider. Overall, I find the train experience really awesome. You get great views. Unlike cramped airplanes, train seats are wide and comfortable. There's plenty of leg room. There's no seat belts or air turbulence, so you can always get up, stretch, or walk around. Cafe cars are pretty much always available, not only at set times. And for short trips, Amtrak is actually faster than flying. For long trips, well, get comfortable. It took 26 hours to get from Fort Lauderdale, Florida to Wilmington, Delaware. I was in no rush, so I really enjoyed it. Now sure, there's first-class Amtrak service, which includes sleeper cars, which may be better for longer journeys. I reserved a roomette for that 26-hour trip, but honestly, regular coach service was very nice as well. Another thing to consider is the train stations tend to be located in cities, unlike airports that are generally far outside and require more travel coordination to get where you want to be. When I stopped in Buffalo during my Erie Canal trip, the start of the trail was less than a mile from the station. Same with the Gap Trail in Pittsburgh and Cumberland. You're basically right there. Okay, enough with general train benefits. Let's get the specifics about bikes. Amtrak defines a bike as weighing 50 pounds or less, fitting the dimensions of 70 by 41 by 8.5 inches, and having tires no more than 2 inches wide. So at this point, that excludes trikes, tandems, fat bikes, recumbents, or bike trailers. However, the Amtrak website says they are working on including more bike types, so this may change over time. Pannier racks are totally cool, but the panniers themselves need to be removed, and then they're considered carry-on baggage. Folding bikes can often go in the passenger car as a piece of carry-on luggage, unless for some reason you prefer not to fold it up, in which case it can be put in the baggage car with a bike reservation. E-bikes are allowed so long as they meet the other criteria mentioned, like the 50-pound weight limit. One note on baggage: you're allowed 2 personal items up to 25 pounds each, 2 carry-on items up to 50 pounds each, as well as 2 checked bags up to 50 pounds each. That's a lot of baggage. On one trip, I carried my 2 rear and front panniers into the passenger car, and there was plenty of space. You always need a bike reservation in addition to your ticket. It's an additional $5 to $20 depending on the route. The one exception, as I already pointed out, is for foldable bikes that can be carried on. Maybe the most confusing part of Amtrak and bicycles is for online purchases. You need to select the ticket, then click to the next screen where you can add a bike reservation. It's a little bit of a pain because if you find the route that you want on the day that you want, and you click to the next screen, bike service might be sold out and you have to start over again. I find calling Amtrak to be a lot easier because the ticket agent seems to be able to see everything on one screen. In the future, bike space is going to be expanding, but it's still limited, so don't wait till the last minute. You're going to want to book in advance. Okay, 2 other important caveats. Not all routes and not all stations offer bike service. Many, if not most, do, so don't let this scare you off. You just need to check. Some stations are really small. They don't even have a local staff on hand. It's just a quick stop in a more remote area. I'll leave a link below in the description section on where you can find that information. Or again, calling Amtrak is a great idea. There are 2 types of bike service. Carry-on service is where you roll your bike into the passenger car and put it in a rack space yourself. In some cases, you have to remove your front wheel and hang the bike from the back wheel. I'm not sure exactly why, other than it keeps your handlebars from hanging out into the aisle. The second service is train-side check service, and that is when your bike is put in the baggage car. You need to be able to lift your bike up to the baggage handler, and then they will place it in a rack. They will also give you a claim ticket, and for goodness sake, don't lose it. Keep it somewhere safe. When you arrive at your destination, you make your way directly to the baggage car. Don't go to the station. Go to the baggage car.
Gotta go pick up the bike.
Give them the claim ticket and retrieve your bike. More than likely, the staff will remind you what to do, but a few trips back, I saw a poor woman go into the station, wait in line to ask where to get her baggage, and by that time the train was long gone. Here's the best part. With exception to one route, the Portland to Spokane portion of the Empire Builder route, that's pretty specific, you don't have to box your bike. There's no disassembly required. During my Florida trip, I arrived in Jacksonville. The baggage handler handed down my bike and I was off riding literally 1 minute later as I left the station. It couldn't have been more simple. Amtrak asks that you arrive 45 to 60 minutes prior to departure to check in and get your bike tagged. During a recent trip, I got there 45 minutes early and the agent said, "Wow, you're super early." So trains and planes are way different in that regard. Again, they will ask you to remove your bags and water bottles. For the record, I usually leave my handlebar bag and my frame bag on the bike only because they're harder to remove and no one has protested. Finally, I have always found Amtrak staff to be super friendly and helpful. After years of airline travel, in my opinion, the train experience just feels more relaxed and peaceful. A baggage handler on one trip found me in the cafe car later on the journey and sat down for a fairly long conversation to ask questions about bike touring because he wanted to join in the fun. I hope that answers most of your questions. Again, I find this to be an amazingly simple process, and I certainly hope to use it a lot more in the future myself. I'll leave links to other helpful information in the description section below, but here's hoping that Amtrak might be a part of your upcoming adventures. Thanks for watching. Take care, folks.